Hey, what's going on, guys? Zach Spear here, and wanted to spend a few minutes with you today and talk with you about dreams and goals and achieving those things and what it looks like to actually be in pursuit of something for real, and know what you want and getting that. And so I heard a couple of, well, not a couple, I heard one major quote once, which is from Warren Buffett, and it says, you can do anything that you want. You just can't do everything that you want in life. And so there's an exercise where you should write down your 25 main goals in life and then pick 5 of them and forget the other 20. That's pretty crazy, right? So write down your 25 most important things you ever want to do, then pick 5 and forget the other 20. And so I did that exercise, and that exercise is actually what caused me to start pursuing the business much harder and actually quit my job because I was making good money at my job. I enjoyed it, but it didn't fall in line with those other 5 goals. And so since then, I've actually created this. I've actually had to remove one of them. So right now, this best-selling author thing, I should probably take it off because it's something that's amazing. But I just don't really know why I wrote that. It's just something that I wanted at the time I wrote this, and I can't really think of an end reason why that's there. And then this one also is number 6. It just falls in with really number 4 and 6. They're about the same. So this is really 5. Just comes up to 7, and I have another one on here. It's totally self-serving. It's about becoming a professional race car driver. I've always had an affinity for racing. I've always been pretty good at it, but I've never got a pro license or anything, and I've always wanted to become a professional race car driver. So that's a goal of mine. It doesn't fit into my top 5. It's like number 6. So it's something that I probably won't. It won't. If it happens, it happens. But I have to focus on these 5 really, which is really where everything starts. So I wanted to show you these. These are my lifetime goals: to make $100 million annually and give 90% of it away to causes that we care about, charities, and of course to our family, to make sure that my parents and Ashley's parents are taken care of. Build the biggest personal brand in the world, and that I really don't care about anyone knowing my name. To be honest with you, I'd rather be in the background and have the results, but not really be that well known. That's just what I would prefer nowadays. But whether or not you agree or disagree with the political views of Donald Trump, that is totally a discussion for another time. That has nothing to do with this. But we can't argue that he completely skipped all of the political ladder that you're supposed to climb, and he just went straight for the presidency. And he did that because of a ginormous personal brand and a business brand. And so I want to build up a very large personal and business brand to help spark an economic revolution in the U.S. I think the world's economy is really messed up. I think a lot of the stuff that we deal with here in the States is pretty messed up. Not necessarily us as middle class, middle/upper class people, but there's a large amount of people in the States that deal with lots of bad stuff, and even in the middle class too. But then of course, then you guys who go around the world, it's even more jacked up at real issues. And since all of the economic things are pegged to the U.S. dollar, it starts with us. And I have a very big passion for the way that our economy works, the way our financial system works. And when you really learn about it, it's really messed up. And I would love to. I don't know if I believe that I could fix it, because that's just, I think, a massive undertaking, but I believe I could empower enough people and educate enough people to know that it is in fact messed up, why it's messed up. And when you really learn why it's messed up, Henry Ford said, if enough people knew how the money in the country really works, there'd be a revolution by the morning. And that is true, I believe. Next one is become a Founders Crown Ambassador in Amway, which will help me accomplish the rest of the goals. So really have 4, but this 5th one is not totally tied in. So this Founders Crown Ambassador thing, this is an 8-figure income roughly, or it can be an 8-figure income, and so that'll give me a nice platform to reach the $100 million mark. and then build a 1 million person ministry that would come in the form of a church and just reaching out to people through other various methods. So those are my lifetime goals. My more immediate goals, these is like the next couple of years. So if you notice, like we have a goal of making $100 million and giving the majority of it away. So that means we live on about 10 million, minus a little bit in taxes. So this would be, so we're probably never going to like surpass a $10 million personal income. And so this would be our first initial kind of batch of like personal stuff. So we would love to have two nice houses here in Chicago. $3 million is a nice place. It's not like a gargantuan beastly place. It's just it's a very nice place. And so we'd love to have a house here in Chicago for about $3 million. And then we both have a love for Colorado. In fact, we really want to move to Colorado. We just haven't because our team is here, and you can still move away from your team. It's not a big deal, but we just feel called to build it here right now. And so we're doing that, but we really, really, really don't like the weather in Chicago. We just like the people. So we really want to get a place in Colorado, and since we're not willing to move there right now, a second place is the next best thing. We'd love to have a place just period, so it probably won't be as expensive as $3 million at first. It might just be, a couple $100,000 house just to have. But what we would love to do is have a $3 million house here and one there. I wrote Lamborghini and Porsche 911 Turbo S. Truthfully, this is just a budget big enough to fit in the car stuff I want. I'm more of I love building my own race cars. So this Lamborghini budget of $2,700 a month, that's like $150,000 car payment. I would probably use this in like 2 or 3 other cars and let that spread out. And then I love this Porsche 911 Turbo S. It's a lot less flashy than Lambos, but it's probably the best driver's car that I have been around. And that's street legal at least. So I'd probably take this Lambo budget and spread it out through maybe 2 other cars and then put a lot of it into the current race car that I have. Taking care of our parents, $20,000 a month, so $10,000 a piece. That'll let them, stop working. They won't live extravagantly, of course, at $10,000 a month, but it'll be enough to live and not worry about anything. And then the rest of our living expenses, $9,000 a month. Food, out to eat, random purchases, about $300 a day to do that kind of stuff. So more than is needed, but we'll be, comfortable enough to do all that stuff. So this initial lifestyle that we're building costs about $62,000 a month, or $748,000 annually. When you factor in taxes, it's more like $1.2 million. So it's about $100,000 a month, or $3,000 per day. So if you just do the math, what does it take for me to make $3,000 a day, or $100,000 per month, depending on how your business works? So half of our business works monthly. So I know that I need to make $100,000 a month. The other half of our business really works like daily or weekly. So I need to make $3,000 per day. And so I know where I'm at now with both of these. And all we have to do is just make up the difference. We have vehicles that can increase both in daily income and monthly income. This is an online marketing vehicle. The monthly one is our network marketing, our Amway business. So we just increase those incomes until we hit our target. And when we hit $3,000 a day, we get all this. And so I challenge you to do the same thing. Find out the stuff that you want and then reverse engineer it to how much it's going to cost for you per day and per month to get those things. And then as you can see here, I've got huge, these folders are all filled with things that we desire and want. So like here's a picture of the way I'd love one of our garages to look. With how much money we're looking to give away, I don't know if I'm going to be able to have all of these, but we could definitely afford it as time goes on. But I could accumulate them and keep them. But this would be amazing to have something like this and still be super charitable. As we go on, there's pictures of garages. That's the same garage. Different vehicles that we love. And, so we go out and test drive stuff. That's a nice little gif of us test driving an S7. There's me. Building Batmobiles, which would be amazing. Here's an Aventador when it first came out. I did not take that picture. A bunch of different other cars. Here's some pictures of the house. So I am a big reader. I read a ton. And so this this library would have to be, I'd probably have to, I don't know. With giving all that money away that I told you about, having a library like this might be excessive, but it would be super, super cool. Again, if we give that much money away, we're left with, a little bit. I could accumulate that over the years and get something like this. I would love a library like that. There's staircases. There's a picture of an awesome freaking pool that is super amazing. This is that. There's a picture of, this is like a $20 million house in California, I think. So super pimp daddy. Definitely does not fit in the $3 million, the $3 million budget. So this is a little bit longer away. But again, this is just to keep things clear, because without vision, you have no provision. You can't get something that you can't entertain in your mind. And so I've got stuff that's like literally small stuff like this. This is completely useless. I mean, I'm a big like self-defense kind of weapon guy. A gold Desert Eagle is totally useless. For those of you that don't know, this gun is like super, super big. Like you can't shoot this with one hand. Like you need two hands on it because the kickback is so intense. Completely useless weapon for like anything home defense, or like you wouldn't carry this on you. It's just too big. But it's just super cool. It's just like it's a gold-plated freaking Desert Eagle. So, who needs it? Nobody. But it's awesome. And this is only like a couple $1,000s. So, it's more of a close, it's like a close term little goal of mine. Like when I've got a few grand to just completely blow with zero regard for where it goes, I might buy this. And then, we've got some bigger things, like some of these watches are, like this is a Richard Mille, I believe. This is like a $300,000 watch. Who needs a $300,000 watch? Absolutely no one. But is it freaking awesome? Yes. If you're giving $90 million away, like, can you buy yourself a $300,000 watch? I think you're allowed to. So before I left my job, I wrote this retirement letter, and this was something that I wrote and kept in front of me all the time. I wrote this before I left my job, and it gave me the wherewithal and the passion to keep going when things weren't going amazingly. And quite honestly, this was probably the most emotional I got about some of my goals ever. I mean, I get emotional about goals, period. But like this one really got me, really got me kind of weepy. And the day I wrote this, I gave a talk that night, and I read this, led it to everybody, and it was pretty special. It was cool. I kept this in front of me. What's crazy is I actually got fired from this job before I ever got a chance to hand this in. So this just now goes down in a piece of the Spear archives, some memory banks. But I wrote it, and you know what? Now I don't work a job anymore. And did it happen differently than I would have expected? Absolutely, it did. But was it fun? Was it cool? And did it help me move forward? Absolutely. So if you haven't written your retirement letter yet, I definitely suggest you do it. And with that, guys, keep your goals and dreams in front of you. And we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.